I think that those organizations that are doing, like I said earlier, random acts of marketing probably do see it as a cost center
Yeah.
because it's like the Wild West. Well, we do blogs. Okay, well, tell me what they look like. Let's talk about them. How often do you do them? Well, we did one like last summer.
Hi, everybody. This is Josh Becerra. Welcome to this next episode of How I Work. I'm super excited to have Barb Bertsch with me today. Thanks for being here, Barb.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Barb, 20 years plus of marketing experience, big jobs, global product manager at the Toro Company. You know, what I love about your approach to marketing is you talk about it as being very holistic, meaning that marketing touches every aspect of an organization. You definitely show up wondering about core values of companies, their people, customers, and processes, and that's how you kind of wrap your head around marketing. Currently working with Authentic as a fractional CMO. That's how I've gotten to know you. So anyway, super excited to have you with me today, Barb. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I always love to start these conversations by asking my guests to tell the audience a little bit about themselves. So why don't you tell us about like how you first got interested in marketing, what your career path has kind of looked like, what you were doing before being a fractional CMO, and who some of your current clients are today, or at least the industries that you're working in.
Sure, no problem. So I took a bit of an alternative path to get into marketing.
I love
My
that.
my undergrad's in sports management,
Okay.
with the idea of becoming an athletic director. But then I graduated and followed a boy. So don't do that.
Yeah.
Eventually, I made it back to Minnesota and landed in an entry-level position at Toro. I ended up spending about 12 years there and made the most of my time,
Yeah.
excelling in each role and moving up. I didn't have a degree in business, like I said. So while there were business aspects of my degree, it wasn't, with a focus of getting into a corporate setting like that. It was a great company and willing to invest, and highly recommend if that's your path to find a
Yeah.
company that is willing to invest in you. And I eventually found my way into marketing and fell in love with that. So that's where I stuck.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then the kind of fractional CMO role, do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Maybe how you typically approach like the initial assessment of a company's marketing needs, what methodologies or frameworks you think are most effective for marketing strategies. Super interested to start picking your brain.
Yep, no problem. Well, when I first meet with a client, I spend a lot of time kind of reiterating what I heard them say when we first met
Yeah.
and just make sure that everything is still, that's what they want to do and that's where they want to go. And then I start digging in and conducting interviews with all levels of leadership and every member of the sales team. I think that's key. Sales and marketing need to be aligned.
Yeah.
And then I can develop a current state. And, also at this point with Authentic, we've got some audits that we run. And taking the data that comes from those and the data I've gathered through the interview process, that current state is built out. And also at that point, we have the Authentic team has developed some different methodologies. And a piece of that is our marketing roadmap. And that one-page image really walks a client through, okay, so here's why you exist. Here's your North Star. This is where you're trying to get. And here's your business priorities that are rolling up to that. So below that is everything marketing. So you've got the foundational elements. And what those are, there's 4 of them. There's your buyer journey. There is metrics and data and reporting, technology and process, and your brand messaging. So you really need to have all 4 of those things in play. Some organizations I work with have nothing, and we're starting from the ground up. some have a couple of them, and so on. But as a marketer, we like to start tackling those one by one. And we always tell our clients these engagements are 12 to 24 months.
Sure.
It's a long-term play. It takes a lot of time to build those. You're a business owner, you know.
Yeah.
The foundational elements are key to building that strategy and plan. So, for example, if you are doing all these marketing things randomly,
Yeah.
that's one thing. But if you're doing them and then not even measuring them or have the technology and process in place to do so, why are you
Yeah.
investing
Why are
in
you
that?
doing it at all?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's a trap that a lot of organizations find themselves in. And that's why we exist. And we want to come in and be that leader for them. We don't want organizations just, well, I think I need this person and hire. It doesn't work,
Yeah.
and so.
Yeah. I want to go back to like the very beginning, which I thought was it kind of made me chuckle inside, which was you start by asking them like, okay, this is what I heard you tell me. Like, in fact, is this what we want to do? Have you ever had an experience where somebody's like, really? We told you that? Like, that's not at all what I think we need to do. Like, have you had people either flip on a dime or just like have no foundation whatsoever and you're just like, all right, we're starting from square one?
No, not exactly. But what does happen is they think they know what they want.
Yeah.
They know where they want to go, and they think they know how they want to get there, when in fact it's not.
Yeah.
So that's what I help them kind of understand, and we unwind that a little bit and say, well, what about this, and what about this, and what about this?
Right.
And for example, I have a client that, I started with in February of 2022, and they literally had nothing, but they grew in spite of themselves.
Sure.
Whatever they were doing was working to a point, and then they couldn't scale any further. People didn't know who they were. They have zero brand awareness.
Yeah.
So we started by building them a new website. You got to have something to send people to.
Sure.
That is your front door.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't look good, what do you do when you're searching the internet? You leave.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
for sure. Yep, yeah. Anytime you like land on a page and it just doesn't, it feels like it's like 1980s. You're just like, meh.
Right.
Go
right.
back to the search results, find the
Yeah.
next result.
Yes.
I get it. So, yeah, I would say that happens to us too at Agurian, where people will show up and just be like, we need SEO. And you're just like, well, okay, why do you think you need SEO? Let's
Yeah.
just talk a little bit about your organizational goals, high level business objectives, and then it may come to be where they really just need like content, or maybe it's more of a paid media play. Like, I feel like anytime someone shows up at my doorstep and they're just like, I need this thing, give me the quote, I have to be like, whoa, let's make sure that we're aligned strategically before we just start jumping right into tactics. I think it's super
Yeah,
smart.
exactly, because there's so many layers below that. Even taking your SEO example,
Yeah.
first question is, what do you think that means?
Right. Yeah. The acronyms, they get all jumbled up, and sometimes people show up and they don't even know what they mean.
Yeah, and
Cool.
that's
So,
okay.
you know,
That's what we do, right?
yeah. Yeah, we gotta educate people. We gotta help them understand how we can help them. Super important. So, you gave the example of a client that you showed up and really was just getting started, almost had nothing. In my experience, many times, the people who are kind of laggards when it comes to digital marketing, what we do, are people who kind of don't believe in it, or they see marketing as like a cost center and not a growth driver. So have you had those same types of conversations with business leaders? And then like, how do you kind of help frame that conversation or kind of convince leaders that marketing can be a growth driver and it isn't just a cost center?
Right. That's a loaded question. I think that those organizations that are doing, like I said earlier, random acts of marketing probably do see it as a cost center
Yeah.
because it's like the Wild West. Well, we do blogs. Okay, well, tell me what they look like. Let's talk about them. How often do you do them? Well, we did one like last summer. So it's helping them understand why that's not working for them, why leads aren't coming in, and why you do see it as an expense. And that's just one really small example. Did you measure the effectiveness of it? What kind of technology do you have in place to get that out to people? So it's going back to those foundational elements and helping them understand that when all of these things are working well together, and I can give them client examples like the one that we were just talking about, where step one, we built this. Step two, we've been building content consistently for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And our numbers now went from this to this, and our leads went from here to here. We also threw in some paid media, and that also helped to drive more interest. So it's being able to walk somebody through what the life cycle should actually look like.
Yep.
Leads are not magic, and when the leads start coming in, it is absolutely a revenue generator.
Yeah, for sure. So you've talked about like these foundational elements. I know one of them is the customer journey. I know you're big on customer journey. As a matter of fact, I think I saw you on a authentic panel talking about customer journey. So I know you've got a point of view on this. So why do you think that's such an important foundational element, and how is it most effectively used?
Great question. First, I like to call it a buyer's journey, because they are a buyer before they're a customer.
Right.
So, it's really a two-pronged approach. If you look at, if you think of it as a spreadsheet and a map, and you're following, awareness, consideration, just a basic funnel, and you're trying to figure out, okay, here's who we think is the ideal customer profile for us. Let's figure out how they show up, how they buy, what they need along the way to make them pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And along that journey, you're also placing in, in these columns, if you will, this is the type of marketing asset that needs to go out at this point. And then they're going to need this, and then they're going to need this. So when you think about yourself as a consumer going out and doing research on something, you have a process. Well, they have a process too. So whether it's B2C or B2B, it's no different. There's a process there. It's really important to revisit it also. Think about COVID. That changed the way people buy.
Yeah.
People become, they were already self-sufficient. Now they want to get to the point where they can just place the order and not talk to anyone. And, and that's true not for every company, obviously, but it's true in a lot of cases now that we're seeing. And what I was saying about it being two parts, once they become a customer, it's really important for the latter half to be focused on. Think about the delivery. So following up as soon as they've become this customer, and following up and saying, how'd your first shipment go?
Yeah.
Did you get everything you needed? How are you liking it? Is there anything we could do different? Really making them feel important right out of the gate. And then staying on top of that, providing them with programs in a B2B scenario, for example, and things that are of value to them still, even though you've already landed them as a customer. Because where we want to get is loyalty and advocacy. And a lot of organizations, like I said, stop when they become a customer. So building out this buyer's journey, that's how you use it. That's why it's important. You're constantly looking at it, and it's a tool for sales as well as marketing.
Yeah. I think that's really a great call out, that like after the sale, there's like this very important piece to customer service, creating loyalty. I do think that more and more people are less loyal. Like there's just always options. It's at everybody's fingertips. Many times it's easy to kind of move, because of technology and kind of tech stack and things. There's, people can move their business from one vendor to another without changing their tech stack. And there's
Right.
plenty of vendors out there that understand the tech stack that a company has. So anyway, yeah, spending
Yeah.
time on thinking about, well, once we have them as a customer,
Yep.
like how are we going to keep them? And what's
Well,
of value to them now that they're our
exactly.
customer? I love that.
Well, and as an organization, are you categorizing your customers? You've got your A and B, you've got your C and D, and you need to know something about all of them. You need to know what makes them tick. Even though you think you should focus on your A's, what if those D's want to move up into a B category? You don't know unless you're building that relationship beyond them just becoming a customer.
Yeah, yeah. That's so
I'm
smart.
passionate about this. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I just like what's going through my head is I'm just thinking about what do we do, what are we doing at Agurian that's ensuring that we've got that loyalty. So anyway, we've got a significant focus on our kind of buyer journey. Actually have done some work with Authentic on that, and super excited about it. But yeah, it gets me thinking about, all right, what's post sale? What does that really look like? So it's always a good reminder.
Yes.
I want to shift gears
Okay.
quick. I want to talk about a couple of things. So one is AI, because everybody's talking about AI,
Yeah.
and then the other is just, you're a fractional CMO. I think there's a lot of businesses out there that are starting to see marketing as important, and are like, how can we do this? And I think the fractional space is a really great way for people who maybe can't get a full-on CMO strategic person in there, that they can at least get some help. So I'm interested in your take on AI, and then I'm just interested in like what for companies that might be thinking about hiring a fractional CMO, what do you think are like the most important things they should look for when they're engaging with somebody like that?
Okay. So AI. Well, I think it's going to both disrupt and enhance the marketing function. I think every day in our company Slack channel, there's a new recommended AI function to check out. I cannot keep up with that.
Yeah.
I see company roles in AI tech becoming standard. Someone that specializes in all things AI and supports all functions of the organization. I mean, AI breeds efficiencies, but no one person has time to learn every single tool that can support their role. Just the basic chat GPT has helped me a bunch. Whether my clients are realizing I'm using it or not, I'll tell them I'm using it. I think a lot of them would be in support of it because that's less time I'm eating up of their dollars.
Yep.
It's helping me be a lot more efficient. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same camp. I feel like, at least today, the way that we're using it is, finding efficiencies. So we actually have a goal this year of finding 20 tasks where we can gain 20% efficiency. This is just kind of like, and task that down to the teams. Like each team has to find a set amount of tasks, and like, let's get rid of some of the kind of redundant, kind of manual things that take time. And if we can do that, then we can spend more time on strategy, which is the higher value kind of stuff.
For sure.
So I definitely see that as a use case. I also think it'll be a disruption. I was on another interview, and the guest said that she believed that AI isn't going to replace people, but people who know how to use AI are going to replace people who don't know how to use AI.
Well,
So
I
like
can see
that for sure resonated with me. So,
Yes.
let's talk about the other question, which was the fractional CMO. Like, if I'm looking for one, what should I be asking myself? I'm the buyer in that buyer
Yep.
journey.
Yep.
What have you seen that is important for businesses to be considering if they're going to go with a fractional?
Well, I think there's, first of all, a lot of confusion in
Mm,
what a fractional CMO actually is. What does the word fractional mean? Are you
yeah,
part-time? Do you do just partial work? Like, what does it actually mean? And so helping them understand that, not every business can afford a senior leader in marketing, but they're getting to this point where they realize they think they need one. So it's just asking that question, finding an organization like Authentic or whatever, and asking the question, like, I'm not sure I need this, but can you help me
yeah,
figure that out? Like, where are you at today with your marketing? And are you doing random things? Does it feel disjointed? Does it
yeah,
feel like you're doing a bunch of stuff and it's not getting you anywhere,
right,
and you're not measuring it, or you don't even know you're supposed to be measuring it? Is your business at a point where it's no longer scaling growth? That's a red flag.
yeah,
And you're not doing any marketing. It's marketing plays a key role in business, as we talked about earlier. It touches every aspect of the business. It's
hmm,
not just in a silo. It's not just partnering with sales and providing support. It's much bigger than that in an organization where it's internal branding. So you're working with HR and culture and things like that, as well as externally branding your company. It's building awareness about your organization. It's
yeah,
not just driving in leads. You have to be found first.
right,
So there's a variety of questions that needs to be asked, and those are just a handful. But just starting to do your homework, just like any other buyer would do,
yeah.
and finding an organization like Authentic where you can start asking those questions. And Authentic has a boatload of resources on their website.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm not
I
plugging
think
Authentic, by the way. I'm just saying.
no, but I will speak to my experience as a buyer, and I do think that uh, was able to educate myself through some of those resources that you're talking about. Super impressed with like the um, the kind of process, the thinking that has gone into. So like there's some kind of questionnaires or
Yeah.
inventories to kind of help a business owner understand kind of where they fit on their own kind of journey towards becoming a very like robust, formalized marketing
Hmm.
organization. They may be in the very early stages. They may be in the middle. And so, like those tools, I think were super interesting to me.
Hmm.
And then lastly, what I liked about like going with more of like a company that has a number of fractionals is there was kind of this opportunity to talk about like who might be best
Yeah.
suited for this, like what was their experience, have they owned an agency, do they know what digital marketing is, like, so that there isn't this huge learning curve. And I think
Right.
that's those are the things that I, as a buyer thinking about bringing in a fractional, I would want to look for, right? Like, does
Yep.
this person know my industry? Is there going to be this huge learning curve? What tools and resources are they bringing with
Hmm.
them that are going to be impactful? So anyway,
Right.
um,
And, there's a big difference between marketing support and marketing leadership.
yeah,
So, if you want somebody to come in and just do tactical execution, that's fine. You're going to fall into that trap of random acts of marketing. You don't do that in any other aspect of your business. You
right,
work off of a strategy and a plan, right? So why should marketing be any different? And then the other thing that you hit on that's important to note about our business is we have this mind share.
hmm,
We have 20 of us. We hop on a call 3 times a month for an hour, and we learn from each other, and there's just a wealth of knowledge in one room, and we can lean on each other anytime, all the
yeah,
time. That's
yeah,
wildly important for our clients to know.
yeah. I love that. Okay, so the last question I always ask all my guests are just kind of, you've been dropping knowledge bombs on us here through this interview. So tell us where you go to find your thought leaders. Are you reading any books? Do you have any podcasts, recommendations, anything like that?
Well, it's funny. I know many people are on the podcast bandwagon. I am not one of them yet.
Yeah.
I'm not an avid reader. So, I follow my connections on LinkedIn avidly. There's tons of information out there.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about AI earlier, I can't keep up with everything. You can't read one book and keep up with everything. So those are my resources for inspiration and knowledge. Also my team at Authentic, like I was just saying. We have that very unique part of our business called the Mindshare, and we learn from each other. We discuss challenges that we need help solving. There's no marketing unicorn. I don't know if you knew that. A lot of people think there are. We can't possibly know all things marketing these days. So we all have, if there's 20 of us, we have 20 different unique experiences behind us, and somebody has an answer to something that we don't know how to do, and it's great. Yeah. And that's really what I spend my week focusing on, is that. And on the weekends, I just go have fun. I don't read books.
Yeah, I love it. No, I know you like to get out in downtown Minneapolis and bike and do all the fun things.
That's right.
Well, cool. Well, this has been great. I really appreciate your time today, Barb. And we're going to say goodbye for this episode of How I Work. Thanks, everybody.